Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I believe in the last episode we got to know just a little bit more about Kazuki's brother, which is obviously Yuuji, but we got to learn about what they did. So there's that. And we're kind of in the middle of context. I don't really remember what they were talking about, but I ran out of time last night, so there's that. So we'll jump in. We're still in the third day. I thought we were in the second day, but that's what I get for thinking.
確か植物からミネラルを取り出して塩を作る実験をしている中国の大学教授がいたわよね。
I honestly do not remember what exactly we were talking about last time.
何急にそんないきなりいたわよねとか同意を求められても知らんがな。
児童向けの科学雑誌にそんな記事が出ていたのを今ふと思い出したのだけれど、残念なことに大量の素材とそれなりの規模の装置が必要なのよね。
塩がそんなに大切なの？
今はまだ体内での調整でごまかしが効いているけど、このまま数日経って飢餓が極まった時、最後に必要になるのは塩だと思うのよ。
Oh, okay, now I remember what we're talking about. So Kazuki has been telling Amane to hold off on using salt and other shit, and it's kind of because of the necessary amounts of salt, or I guess sodium, or whatever that our body needs. So we're kind of just trying to hold off for now, and later on, when it's much more of a necessity, I guess they'll then eat the salt or whatever,
だから
or consume.
今のうちにできるだけ確保しておきたいの。
And salt's probably a lot more limited than their food.
一応言われた通りに塩は節約してるし、半分は使わないようにして隠してあるけど。
それは最後まで隠しておいて。それと塩を隠し持っていることも誰にも言わないで。
Ah, looking out for ourselves.
分かった。そうするけど。
That's what I like to see. What's the point of having salt if there's no food to put it on? If anything, it seemed like we should be stockpiling stuff that could fill our stomachs, not a condiment. Since the fall, we'd been getting by on potatoes, carrots, and the weedy vegetation we picked from the forest. Without any meat or rice in our diet, we were starved for protein and carbohydrates alike. If we had to make a meal out of these scraggly, bitter plants, I'd at least have liked to stir-fry them with a little crumbled bacon, flavored with a generous helping of butter and soy sauce, and steaming white rice on the side. That's right. Rice. We still have a supply of that being held in reserve, didn't we? On the second day of our training camp, heavy rain had cancelled our plans to cook a big curry dinner outdoors. We'd been eating many of the ingredients from that meal, but not the rice it would have been served on. In other words, we had a 5-kilogram sack of perfectly good rice sitting in a tent somewhere. Just when were they planning to distribute that? There was no point in whining about bacon when we didn't have any, but I wanted some rice pretty badly. A nice fluffy bowl on the side would make a main dish of fried weeds seem a lot more tolerable. And if we had some whatever that is, mushrooms to throw in, it'd be...
あ、キノコ。
はい？
ねえ、カズキ、キノコは？キノコなら山の中でも生えてるんじゃない？キノコを探そうよ。
やめておいた方がいいわ。キノコは危険よ。
You got that right.
どうして？カズキなら毒キノコと食べられるキノコ見分けがつくんじゃない？
一応知識はあるけれど、キノコは地域によって差もあるし、それに私の知識は本で得たものばかりで経験が伴わない。本で得た知識だけでキノコを食べて食中毒になるケースは今の時代になっても後を絶たないわ。キノコはダメ。
Fair enough. Strong argument in my opinion. Mushrooms are a no-go.
私、軸がきれいに縦に裂けるキノコは食べても平気って聞いたことあるよ。
The fuck?
それは俗説よ。軸が縦に裂けるキノコでも致命的な毒を持つ種類はたくさんあるわ。悪いことは言わないからキノコは諦めなさい。
いいアイデアだと思ったんだけどな。
It seems appealing, it really does. When I was a child, I actually thought that mushrooms growing outside were fucking delicious. Not in the sense that I actually picked them and ate them, but in my mind they seemed very appealing for whatever reason. But now when you think about it, at this age, holy shit, that shit's gross.
誰か嫌な子に食べさせて2、3日様子を見てからみんなで食べるという手もあるけれど、
さすがにその冗談は笑えないよ。
But I would probably do it.
冗談を言った覚えはないわよ。
Although she smiled lightly, Kazuki's voice wasn't amused in the slightest. She was quite seriously and neutrally informing me of a potential exchange. If we wanted edible mushrooms, we would have to sacrifice someone first. At the moment, we had edible plants. Unappetizing as they might be, there was no need to risk death for the sake of a few mushrooms. But if we were to eat up all the shoots and flowers and herbs, where was our next meal going to come from? If we're forced to eat mushrooms, who takes the first bite? A road to survival we couldn't follow yet. A road not all of us could travel. Was Kazuki thinking of something like this when she spoke those words? Yesterday morning, had she already predicted that I would suggest gathering mushrooms? All of a sudden, her steady voice seemed strangely cold. I suppressed the urge to shiver.
誰だって死にたくはないでしょ。ほら、さっさと積んで戻りましょうよ。
I don't even remember what we're doing. Oh wait, yeah, we're getting shit for the wounded. With those words, Kazuki bent down and began to put away the plants we had gathered in the mess kit rice cooker we were using as a makeshift bucket. None of us want to die. Those brief, perfectly obvious words sent a cold shock through my body. None of us were hiding our grief or anxiety particularly well anymore. Everyone was nervous. Everyone was scared. But I realized something from the spasm of terror I felt in that moment. Somewhere deep inside, we were probably still in denial. We were still optimistically averting our eyes from the cruel reality. This is the 17th. Is this the 4th day? Yes, this is the 4th day. Alright, so the days seem to be moving a lot faster now. Alright, let us continue then. The 4th day in the valley. Ooh, I'm getting excited to see what will come here. As expected, another hot one. As early as mid-morning, it felt about 90 degrees out, if not worse. Spending time in the lush, humid jungle under such conditions would drain our energy surprisingly quickly, so we were told to limit our investigations of the area to the early hours of the day before the temperature reached its peak. Investigating the area might sound nice, but to be perfectly honest, we were just foraging for food. Everyone had long since burned through the 3 days' worth of food distributed to us on the first night. From today on, the system was changing. We'd be getting our daily rations from the captain every morning. And that morning, she handed me a handful of rice, less than a cup's worth. That and maybe a quarter of an onion. This was to make do for me and Kazuki both. When I attentively asked if this was supposed to be one meal, she firmly repeated, "This is for the day." That is not a lot. Alright? If you're thinking that's a lot, you're thinking wrong. So, imagine a cup. Like, not a fucking cup you drink out of it, but a measuring cup. That's not that big. Alright? And, wait, what did she say? Less than a cup's worth. So not even up to the top of what you would measure as a cup. That's your rice, and a quarter of an onion. That's not much either. Honestly, guys, for a meal for the day, for the entire day, that's not a lot, dude. It really isn't. I'm pretty sure you guys already know this, but I need to stress that. That is just not a lot. It wouldn't have been enough for anyone, let alone young girls with growing bodies. We were expected to make up the shortfall by heading into the forest and procuring our own. As a result, most of us were forced to devote the majority of our active time to searching the woods for food. Fortunately, my partner Kazami Kazuki had as small an appetite as her diminutive frame would suggest. And even when all I could offer was a thin gruel of rice and mountain weeds, she ate steadily away without a single complaint. If anything, the problem lay in my direction.
ダメだ。全然食べ足りないよ。
Yeah, Amane is a big woman. I don't mean that in any sort of offensive way, even so I might. But she is much bigger than Kazuki. It would make sense that she would want to eat more, or that she would need to eat more.
アマネは体が大きいから
There you go.
基礎代謝が高い分動かなくてもエネルギーを消費するものね
Kazuki glanced over as I sucked regretfully on my gruel-soaked chopsticks, gave a little laugh, and helpfully compared me to an American gas guzzler in human form.
私の食べ残しで悪いけど食べる
それは和樹の分だよ
And it's not much. I was honestly all too eager to gobble down any morsel offered to me, leftovers or not. Even so, it would have been a dire mistake to accept Kazuki's kindness. If our pair was a body, I was the hands and feet, while Kazuki was the head. No matter how healthy the limbs may be, they can't move unless the brain's functioning.
いいよあとはお茶でも飲んで我慢する
Of course, our tea was nothing more than hot water flavored with onion skins. Wonder how that would taste. It wouldn't fill my stomach to be sure, but from what Kazuki told me, the skins were rich in antioxidants that would reduce the stress on my body, providing something of a detox effect. As I slowly sipped away at the reddish-brown tinted water, I looked around the campsite. Unsurprisingly, many of the others were sitting listlessly on their silver sleeping mats, their arms wrapped around their growling stomachs.
ねえあれ放っておいていいの
Clearly, I wasn't the only one longing for something to supplement our inadequate meals. A group of 3 girls had sat themselves down in a tight circle with Sakuma-senpai at their center. They were playing cards with a deck somebody must have brought along, gambling for small snacks and pieces of candy they'd been secretly hoarding. It was a common sight lately.
まあいいんじゃないみんな楽しそうだしあなたも混ぜてもらったら
Well, what did we use to bet? Kazuki put her hand in her skirt pocket and pulled out a single chocolate bar. I don't know about that one.
軍資金は私が提供するから勝ったら分け前は私とあなたで半分ずついい
But is Amane good when it comes to cards?
でも
You all know it'd make this visual novel just like 10 out of 10 if you could actually play like poker or something. Like you, based on how you play against the AI, is like what would determine what happens next if you get more shit or if you don't. But it's nothing too like story changing, just like different dialogue and all
負
that.
けた時はそうねおやつ抜きってのはどう
That'd be pretty lit, to be honest. I would love to see something like that.
もともと
Implement a game in a visual novel.
っていうかどうして和樹がやらないの
Actually, yeah, it should be Kazuki.
私が勝つと面白くないでしょそれに私は怪我人の世話があるし今は小出さんが一人で見ているけど私がいないと不安らしいから
Oh, I'd probably feel terrible if Kazuki wasn't around, or a doctor in general.
こんな時に遊んでていいのかな
こんな状況だからこそ退屈すると悪い方へ考えが進みやすいしガス抜きは必要なのよ無駄に動いてもお腹が空くだけだしねそれにたかが遊びだなんて思っていてはダメね私のペアである以上はあなたには敗北は許されないわたとえトランプ遊びといえど不退転の心意気を胸に他人を蹴落としてでも利益を得る覚悟で挑んでちょうだい
Interesting way to put it.
不退転
踏み出したら振り返らないそれがルールよ
よくわかんないけど頑張ってみるよ
確実な勝利を期待しているわ
Having said her piece, Kazuki turned on her dainty heel and walked off confidently.
確実な勝利ね
Setting the bar a little high, aren't we? Well, I guess if you had talent like Kazuki's, it might well turn out that way, but it seemed like a downright unreasonable expectation to place on an ordinary person like myself. Of course, if I had said as much to Kazuki, I'm sure she would have given me another talking to. Victory is secured only through the steady accumulation of effort and unflagging attention to minor precautions. Or whatever. I was pretty sure she'd already told me something very similar, in fact.
と
I had actually been making something of a habit of jotting down Kazuki's words of advice over the days we'd spent together. Do your utmost to avoid placing yourself in a position where you'll be forced to rely on chance. When the time comes to use a card, play it without hesitation. Betray before you're betrayed. I like that one. Once someone has betrayed you, never trust them again. That is smart. Don't let anyone realize you don't trust them. Remember to chew your milk before you swallow. I don't get that one. Not that I really understood most of them, especially the last one there. Chew your milk? Some kind of metaphor maybe? Well, whatever.
私も混ぜてもらっていいですか？
それは構わないけど、何かかけるものを持ってる？
チョコレートがありますけど。
Hell yeah, boy.
へえ、君、まだそんなものを隠し持ってたのか。
Hell yeah, man. You gotta keep the goods in the reserves.
いえ、別に隠していたわけじゃ。それにこれは和樹が持っていたものです。
風見が？あいつ甘いものなんて興味なさそうな顔してるけど、こんなものを持っていたのは意外だね。
Kazuki is an interesting person. I couldn't deny it seemed a little out of character for Kazuki to be carrying chocolate around. That said, at this point, I wouldn't really have been surprised if she pulled a pigeon out of a hat. She was clearly capable of anything.
何にせよ、チョコレートは大歓迎だ。座りなよ。
Hell yeah, boy.
はい。
Let's play some cards. What should we do next? What's going to become of us? How long before we can go home? Immediately after the fall, every word coming out of our mouths boiled down to a variation on one of those three sentences. But as of that morning, the litany of unanswerable questions had finally trickled to a halt. By our fourth day in the valley, we'd started to adapt psychologically. Harsh as our environment was, we had our tents to shield us from the elements and our sleeping bags to keep us warm at night. As we began to find comfort in such things, we were gradually growing calmer. With the provisions distributed on the first day gone, and our daily rations reduced to a bird's helping of rice, it was only natural that the topic of our conversation shifted from such vague anxieties to the concrete topic of food.
チーズが食べたいな。
While studying the cards she'd been dealt, Kaneda-senpai muttered those words to no one in particular like some kind of prayer. Her love for dairy was well known to the team. When practice ended and the freshmen took orders for their obligatory snack run to the nearby convenience store, she'd always request something cheesy.
ないものは仕方がないだろ。
分かっちゃいますけど、先輩だって甘いものが食べたいって言ってたじゃないですか。
甘いものは実際にあるじゃないか。キャンディーにガムにプレッツェル。それに見なよ。アマネがチョコレートを持っている。まさにカモネギじゃないか。
確かにチョコは魅力的ですよね。一番甘いですし。
Ah, yeah. 3 sets of eyes focused intensely on my bar of chocolate. It felt almost like they weren't seeing anything else. For a moment, I physically cringed. If all 3 of them were to pounce at once, I would have been completely unable to defend myself. As I bit my lower lip and swallowed nervously, Sakuma glanced up and abruptly burst into laughter.
心配ないさ、大丈夫だよ。確かにここ最近苦くて渋い草ばっかり食べてるせいで甘いものに飢えているのは間違いないけど、たかがチョコレートで喧嘩を始めるほど私たちも子供ではないからね。
ですよね。
もしこの場に小沢先輩がいたら、それも保証の限りではないですけどね。
As she spoke, Ibuki discarded a pair of cards from her hand. True enough, Azawa wouldn't have handled the situation well. Her juniors hadn't called her the devourer demon behind her back for nothing. Insensitive as it seemed, I couldn't help but think her instant death in the bus crash had at least spared her from otherwise inevitable agony. Perhaps she'd been lucky in a way.
そういえばさ、 小沢ちんのバッグどうなったの？
バッグ？
ほらあの子、いっつもバッグの中にぎっしりとお菓子を隠してたでしょ。あのバッグがあれば私たちしばらく甘いものに困らないんじゃない？
先輩たちの私物はバスから回収した後、全部先生に預けましたけど。
ということはやっぱり部長が管理してるってことか。
Oh, fucking great. Just then, I glanced absent-mindedly at the chocolate bar in my hand and did a bit of a double take. Come to think of it, Kazuki was the one who'd retrieved Azawa-senpai's belongings from the bus. Could this possibly be something Kazuki secretly swiped from her bag?
どうしたマネ？君の番だよ。
はい、ごめんなさい。
Instinctively apologizing for no particular reason, I pulled the furthest card on the right from Sakuma's hand. She chuckled softly. I had taken the worst possible card off her hands. What are they playing? The Joker. Oh, it's something I haven't heard of. If it's with you at the very end, you've lost the game. For a moment, the smirking clown staring back at me from the cheap, limited playing card seemed to be wearing Kazuki's face.
結局のところさ、食料を全部管理しているのは部長と小出のペアでしょ。彼女ら自分たちだけお腹いっぱい食べてるなんてことはないよね。
I actually think that. I think that the captain, her friend, and the advisor are eating much more than everyone else. From the cards I offered her, Kaneda pulled out the 8 of spades.
それはないと信じたいね。坂下はああ見えて責任感は人一倍強いし、自分だけ楽をしようとは思わないタイプだよ。
そうでしょうか。
Ibuki pulled a card from Kaneda's hand, then discarded a newly formed pair onto the central pile. By this point, she had only 4 cards remaining.
坂下部長は責任感が強いというか、自分以外の場所に責任を転嫁するのが上手なだけですよ。私、あの部長苦手です。
出たよ。またブッキーの苦手ですだ。
I think I skipped a little there. As Sakuma's senpai leaned over toward her, Ibuki's cheeks flushed slightly red. She thrust out her remaining 4 cards in front of her roommate's face, as if trying to keep her at bay.
そうやって簡単に信じてしまう方が善人なんですか？私は善人なんて嫌です。騙されて利用されて、それでもよかった、病気の子供はいなかったんだなんて言えるほど、私は成人じゃありません。
そういうとこかわいいな、ブッキーは。そろそろ髪切った方がいいね。前髪を切ればもっと可愛くなる。
余計なお世話です。私は好きでこの髪型にして、もう触らないで。
Well, aren't they cute?
イチャつくのは2人きりの時にしてもらっていいですか？
That's what I'm saying. Wrangling her brow as if trying to hold back an imminent sneeze, Kaneda flapped her hand in the air in a signal to get on with the game already.
うちのペアは小森が飼ってる犬がいるから余計な食いぶちが増える分食料の減りが早いんだよね。あの犬っころ生意気に雑草なんか嫌だって全然食べないし。
Yeah, that's why I don't like the fact that the dog is here. It's screwing someone over already.
そういえば犬って肉食なんじゃないんですか？
雑食なんじゃないかな。うちの近所の犬なんか散歩の途中で道端に生えてる雑草とかむしゃむしゃ食べてるの見るよ。
あ、それなんだっけ？肉ばっかり食べていると胸焼けするから食べるんじゃなかったっけ？
でも今朝だって配給の玉ねぎ食べさせようとしたけど完全にそっぽ向いて見向きもしなかったよ。
It may be because of what he's eaten his entire life coming up to this.
犬に玉ねぎ食べさせちゃダメですよ。犬に玉ねぎを食べさせると貧血を起こすって言うじゃないですか。
え、そうなの？
What is that exactly? Anemia?
チョコレートもダメだって言うよね。
それこそ犬に食べさせるぐらいなら自分で食べますよ。
I think everyone knows that chocolate is bad for a dog.
あー、まあね。私も小森に同じようなこと言ったらさ、なんか責任感じたみたいで。犬が食べられそうなもの探すって、今日も朝からずっと山の中を歩き回ってるよ。
へえ、トリュフでも見つけてくるんですかね。
あれ、トリュフは豚が探すんじゃなかった？
何にせよ、犬だけじゃなくて私たちの食べるものが問題ですよね。
Nope, we're
こ
gonna
のまま
die.
雑草ばっかり食べててもそう長くは持ちませんよ。
Like, man, I don't know if you can continue to just eat what they're eating. I mean, it's not fulfilling, but does it give them any sort of nutrients? Or does it just pass through their bodies? Having waited 3 days, we could hold out another 7. That was Kazuki's estimate. We'd stay here for another week, sipping on weed soup. If our rescuers hadn't arrived by then, we'd have no choice but to go get help ourselves. Most likely, the captain was preserving a stock of food for that purpose. But when I said as much, Kaneda scowled dubiously.
でもさ、救助を呼びに行くってどうやって？
Walk? As she spoke, Kaneda scratched irritably at the bandage wrapped around her forehead. The wound underneath must have been growing itchy in the humidity.
誰か一人代表者を決めて、その人に水と食料を託して山を降りてもらうんです。
降りられるならとっくにそうしてるでしょうが。こんな道もないような山、どうやって降りるのよ。どっちに進めばいいのかすらわからないのに。
だから部長と先生はそれを調べるために今も山に入っているんじゃないですか。
責任者の自主的な行動って言えば聞こえはいいけどさ、それって無駄に食料を減らしてるだけじゃん。いっそのこと全員で別々の方向に山を降りればいいんだよ。
That sounds stupid, but might work.
だからそれは
We didn't have nearly enough provisions for a gamble like that, and we couldn't just abandon the wounded. Yeah, we could. There was only one practical plan: endure as long as we could on these meager rations, claw open a path through the wilderness that trapped us here, hope all the while for the arrival of our rescuers. And then, once our investigations yielded something in the way of landmarks, send off a representative with 3 days' worth of food. When another 3 days passed, we could send off a second representative by following the signs the first had left to mark the surest trail. They should make it further down the mountain. Lashing one short stick to the next, slowly but surely we would draw closer to our objective. This was an idea that had grown out of Kazuki's theoretical digital communication plan. If we could repeat this often enough, in theory we would eventually be able to escape. But there were no guarantees, and I found myself hesitant to explain.
喧嘩はやめましょうよ。それこそ無駄にお腹が減るだけじゃないですか。
喧嘩なんてしてないじゃん。話し合ってるだけだよ。
だったらその無駄にイライラした口調やめてもらっていいですか。あまりに八つ当たりしたって仕方がないでしょう。
私がいつ八つ当たりしたってのよ。
Ooh.
金田、それに息吹もその辺にしときなよ。
I've often heard that a calcium deficiency makes you prone to fits of irritability, but at that moment, although all of our diets were badly unbalanced, the main cause of our crankiness was clearly the constant gnawing hunger we all shared. It's easy to be polite on a full stomach, as they say. In the end, we kept at our game of cards until Captain Sakishida and Mr. Ochi returned from their expedition. I finished with a so-so record of 3 defeats and 4 victories. In exchange for 3 of the 12 blocks of chocolate from my bar, I obtained 4 pieces of soft candy wrapped in aluminum foil. Against the contrast of my slightly dirty palm and muddy fingernails, those spoils of war looked irresistibly beautiful. I brought one to my nose and inhaled deeply. At the bittersweet scent of strawberry wafting through the wrapper, my mouth was instantly overflowing with drool. There were 4 candies in my palm. If I popped one in my mouth right now, nobody would ever know. It wouldn't even be a net loss to my group. I would have lost 3 small pieces of chocolate and brought back 3 comparable chunks of sugar. As my thoughts raced unbidden through these calculations, I swallowed the spit in my mouth. But as it slid lukewarm down my throat, I came to my senses with a guilty jolt. It would be dishonest, unfair, cowardly to eat one now. Nothing less than a betrayal of Kazuki, and once I betrayed her, I would probably continue to do so. That was a line I couldn't cross.
何か悩み事？あまね。
Ooh. Damn, dude.
どうかした？
ツッキー、あなた、分かってて私をいじめているの？
Damn, dude, you sound shook.
何のこと？全然わからないわ。
It really seemed like a deliberately timed appearance on her part, but even if it was a coincidence, Kazuki's luck to appear at that exact moment would have been frightening in its own right. After one long, deep breath, I jerked my head down in a bow of apology.
ごめん、カズキ。私今、カズキに内緒でつまみ食いしようか悩んでた。
あら正直、そんなの黙っていればわからないのに。
Well, yeah.
わからないからこそ汚い行為なんだよ。
I held out the soft candies I'd won in the game and the remains of the chocolate bar to Kazuki. Cupping her hands gently over mine to receive them, Kazuki flashed me a satisfied smile.
大丈夫よ。それができないあなただから、私はあなたに全てを任せたのだから。はい、あんしなさい。
Ooh.
あん。
Aw. Kazuki deftly unwrapped one of the candies she'd received from me, then plopped the small white pillow into my half-open mouth.
おいしい？
The candy was unbelievably sweet to my tongue. My entire mouth was instantly flooded with the taste of sugar, and in the next moment, it felt as though that vibrant sweetness was seeping into my veins and spreading throughout my body. That single piece of candy was so delicious, I was actually trembling. Kazuki watched affectionately as I rolled my eyes up in bliss and swirled the candy clumsily around in my mouth, then popped another of the candies into her own mouth. With the words, "Goodness, it really is tasty," smiled in pleasure.
でも、こういった熱量食は一人でこっそりと食べた方が美味しいのかもしれないわね。
どうして？
私の弟がそうだったの。変に禁欲的というか、好きなものをあげてもあまり喜ばないし、後で一人で隠れてこっそり食べるの。どうしてって聞けば、下手に喜ぶと誰かに取り上げられるかもしれないし、一人の方が落ち着くっていうのよね。人間は喜んでいる瞬間が一番無防備だということをすでにあの年齢で知っているのだから、さすがは私の弟ね。そういう卑屈に歪んでいるところもすごく可愛いわ。
なんだかわかるようなわからないような。
I mean, I sort of understand.
理解しない方が幸せよ。特に家族に対してすら不器用にしか生きられない人間はね。
Family. That brief word resonated painfully inside me. It felt as though an icicle had unexpectedly pierced my chest to the core. What were my parents doing right now? Worrying about their missing daughter. Alright, so we'll end it here because things are going to get really sad. Alright, Angelical 4th day, but I'm pretty sure we're coming to the end of it. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. Until then, guys, I'll see you.